the thing with economics is you also follow like models, like economic models and beliefs.
I
and
can
so
follow
like
some models, boy.
Americans follow like a very specific economic model that we've all grown up in, that is very anti like socialist.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was hoping for another.
I was talking about
I was hoping for another hand motion for socialist, and I was just pausing for it.
Oh, socialist?
What's the hand model for socialist?
Yeah, that's what I was
I
waiting
don't know.
for.
There's a hand motion for that? That's weird. Let's not do a hand thing because hand things become weird, dude. Every hand thing has always become weird. It always becomes weird eventually. That's weird. You know what's cool is daps. Daps are always cool. And now you can't even touch. So it's just like the snap. What time is it? 4:54 on April 17th, 2020. My name is Justin. Right here to my right, your left, that's going to be Steven. And across from us always in producing.
That's a candle.
That is
It's a
a candle.
candle.
He just blew it out. It's his birthday today. Give it up for Eric and his birthday. Maybe it's his half birthday. When's your birthday?
November. So,
Okay.
In a month?
A month will be your half birthday. Shit.
About a month. Yeah.
Well, he just blew out the candles for that because you know what? We're probably going to still be on lockdown. So
November
Probably.
lockdown.
we're out here
Right.
celebrating. Celebrating. You know why we're celebrating? Because it's the motherfucking Lone Ranger versus Tonto up in this hoe.
Hey,
How's it going? Thanks for listening, anybody. Go ahead and continue on now. You started with the beer hella early
should I start
on.
over? Should I just?
Yeah, give it a little rundown. What the fuck was you talking
Yeah.
about now?
So this beer, I brought this one. This one's from Cerebral Brewing, over off of like East Colfax. What I was saying before is that the first time I ever went to this brewery, which was the first time I had this beer about a year ago, the first person I thought of was you, because all the walls inside the brewery are covered in like old textbook pages of like science pages, and there are like anatomical drawings and like explanations of what's going on, of like body parts, animals, plants, and all kinds of different stuff. And everything's like science themed, where like the taster glasses are like tiny little beakers. They're like 100 milliliters. And then you have like a 300 milliliter, like larger glass. And it's all like very science themed. And they got this little theme here. Let's see. I don't know if I want to read the whole thing, but I like the second sentence. We hope that when you drink it, it helps spark creativity, thought, or spirited debate among you and your friends. It has that effect on us. And this one particularly was actually brewed with help from Middle State Coffee, which is a local roaster in Denver off of like Santa Fe.
And appropriately, it's named Work From Home.
Yes, also that. And this beer's actually been made for a couple years with the same name. And this is one of their like flagship kind of darker beers. They barrel age this beer. They do some other like treatments to it on another level, but this is like their like regular release. This is just the base of it. 10.2% porter, which is like a super high alcohol porter. But there's
Oh, no, not one motherfucking name Porter.
no, you never met Porter?
Never once.
Fucking
No,
Guy Spencer's brother, Porter Spencer.
Porter Spencer. How come? What's this here on the side? It says washed and natural Ethiopian.
So
I assume that's talking about the coffee.
that is.
And then right under it, it says 𝗏𝗡𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃.
I think those are the coffee, either the roast from Middle
You making
State
shit up,
name.
boy.
Well, you've actually had coffee from Middle State. I brought some over once.
Middle State. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right above what you were talking about, Middle State Coffee. That's the roaster that brings coffee in from
Oh shit.
Africa, or this is an Ethiopian bean, and then they actually roast these in Denver and then bag them up and put them out there. And I think that, do you guys remember the cold brew coffee that I made you guys? It was made with Middle State Coffee.
Oh, that's coffee for sure.
Halo Bartit was HappyMugCoffee.com's favorite coffee of 2017.
So yeah,
Oh,
it's a
shit.
strain of bean then.
Ethiopian. I feel like that's just the Ethiopian word for coffee.
Maybe.
'Cause
I'm not
it's
mad at that
your-
at all. It's really coffee-y. It kind of feels like it'd be better warm. But cool thing you brought it, because I'm out of coffee. Where's my coffee mug? See, that's what this is made for. That's what this one has.
Also, look on the side where it their recommendation for how to drink this: keep cold, drink fresh, contains lactose. So sorry guys if you have an intolerance.
What The fuck?
Ooh.
Hell yeah, I do, boy. What the fuck?
Oh, if you want the thick beers, you got to deal with the lactose, Justin. You're talking about all about, oh, why didn't you bring no thick beers? Well, because they get thick from lactose.
Hell yeah, they do.
From lactose. And but lactose isn't the most friendliest thing on the human body for a lot of people.
Actually, I listened to another podcast called This Podcast Will Kill You. And it was about lactose intolerance.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing that they came out with, they said that it's actually lactose intolerance is not lactose intolerance at all. It's typically, oh man, I forgot how they worded it, but it's a lactose something like and basically, so when we're born, we have a lot of this enzyme to digest lactose. Or whatever, yeah, lactose. And as you grow older, you don't really have that anymore, right? If you continue to drink milk, people that keep drinking milk can keep their levels of this protein a little higher than normal.
Mm-hmm.
But most adults become what you would call lactose intolerant, but it's really not intolerant. What it is most adults could still tolerate about a cup of milk. Mm-hmm. Even when they're like they say that they have it really bad, they can still do about a cup of milk. It's anything after that their liver basically just can't do it, and that's most people. So lactose intolerance is almost, it's not a myth, but it's like it's something that affects everybody, and some people just get the boo-boos from it, other people just fart. So that's why some people are like cool with eating, drinking all the time, and some people are like, oh no, it fucks with me, I can't have it. But in reality, none of us, as adult fucking human beings, have the particular protein
enzyme.
It's I think it's called lactase.
Might be what it's called.
The enzyme, yeah.
Yep.
The enzyme is lactase. The like bug that can eat that, because like from how I understand it is that our bodies just have trouble digesting lactose, which lactose is milk sugar, right? Lacto is milk, and like lactose, that is a sugar that's derived from milk.
Yeah, but
and
it has to do with its chemical compound.
But it is a sugar, right? So like one thing is like just like granular sugar is a sugar, but it has a different chemical makeup because it's from a different source. Just like fruit sugar or fructose has a different makeup than sucrose, which is just like normal sugar. And then you have lactose, which is the milk sugar.
Sucrose. Go ahead.
Justin, you know I don't speak Spanish.
You know I don't speak Spanish.
Here is MayoClinic.org's causes for lactose intolerance. If you are lactase deficient, lactose in your body moves into the colon instead of being processed and absorbed. In the colon, normal bacteria interacts with your undigested lactose, causing the sign and symptoms of lactose intolerance.
Yeah. Hey, check out This Podcast Will Kill You. Super tight. It's these two chicks, they go in and they go into like just diseases or
other shit that can kill you.
That's
tight.
You know what I mean? And they go into shit that even just sounds like it could kill you. You know? And they just go in and they're not like opinionated. They don't do a lot of stuff. They just kind of like dig in deep, and for an hour they talk about something. So they talk about this is what I learned about the virus itself, or the enzymes itself, or the condition itself, and this is what I learned about the symptoms, and then this is what I learned about how many people it affects, and here's our sources. But then they start each episode off with a quarantini, which is a mixed drink that they have, that they come up with, or they find, or whatever, that's something that matches whatever the episode is. And then they have a 𝗶𝗧𝘂𝗶𝗹𝗯𝗃 for kids.
Ooh, a 𝗶𝗧𝘂𝗶𝗃.
That's tight.
That shit's hard. Anyways.
Hell yeah.
Their podcast is cool. Check that shit out.
I don't want to cut you off, but I think that lamp that broke might have a ghost in it. You might have released the ghost.
Really?
Yeah, the camera is like switching focus from me to the lamp.
It just misses it. That's
Yo,
all.
can I tell you guys where the lamps came from? Can I tell you guys the legend of where the lamps came from?
The legend of the lamp. Of course you can tell us.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is the legend of the lamp. Now, this is how I was told the story, and just like any other, you know what I mean, legendary story, it's been passed along and passed along and passed along. So as any good story goes, I don't know how much of this is real. I don't know how much of it is fake. I don't know what's real and what's not. This is the story I was told. Somewhere in there is what happened. Now, so I have a friend, right? My friend Mars. Shout out to Mars. Him and his girlfriend, they made some friends, right? They make a lot of friends. Everybody makes friends. And they made a friend to a woman. And boom, bang, pow, stuff happens. R.I.P. this woman. Now, she left her stuff to them. Some of it, at least. Including these lamps. Now, these lamps including a bunch of other stuff. Now, they went through the stuff they wanted, and they, of course, kept the things that they could. But she left a lot of stuff. So, a lot of stuff that was just like, you know, got to do something with. So, he hit me up. He was like, hey, man, come check out this stuff. I was like, all right, cool. And I come check out this stuff. I see these lamps, and I was like, damn, these lamps are off the hook. I'm going to need you to grab me one of these. Where did they come from?
And this is like episode like -3 too. It was great timing that where these lamps came from Mars.
Oh, yeah. So this is right before we start filming and shit, right? And so he tells me, well, I went into the basement, and we cleared out the basement. Everything was out of 𝗶𝗀𝗂𝗋𝗆𝗀𝗋𝗃 girl's house, right? Boom. They cleared out the basement, and they grabbed all this stuff that was theirs. And they started going through it, boom, bang, pow. And they put all kinds of stuff to the side. And there was a table that had these lamps on it. And they took the table, boom. They took the lamps, put them somewhere else. Took the table, did something else with it, boom. The next day, they went to the basement. That table was there with with the lamps on it. And they were like, what the fuck? Who the fuck put this down here? So he takes it all back up, boom. Switches it all out, takes the table. Then, you know, I think somebody takes the table or something. Somebody takes some other stuff that he had, whatever. Now he's left. He doesn't have a lot of stuff left, just these lamps. But somebody keeps putting these lamps in his basement, he said. Now, these lamps ended up, finally, he was like, well, you know what? I got to get rid of them. They're freaking me out. Everybody else, either someone's playing with me. Mm-hmm. Or something's going on with these lamps. So he's like, I'm going to put these out on the front lawn for free. Well, that was the day I came, check shit out. And I was like, yo, what's up with them lamps? And he was like, well, if you take them, hopefully they'll stay out of the basement. So I took them, and they've been out of the basement ever since.
Well, we hope so. Hopefully these lamps can't like multiply, that they're still down there hunting him, and now here just maybe just like part of the lamps or part of the spirit's Horcruxes in these lamps, but it can be in other lamps too. Maybe
it's like a connection. Remember how the broken mirror that Harry had, that he kept seeing the reflection of, he thought it was Dumbledore, but it ended up being Dumbledore's brother.
Dumbledore
was just watching over him and shit, right? What if there's a connection now between these lamps and that basement? What if? That's all I got.
Damn.
That's as far as my ghost story went. I don't know how much of that's true. That's the legend I was told.
So everything you said was told to you by someone else.
Yeah.
These lamps moving up on a table, off a table.
Yeah, I wasn't there. That wasn't my table.
And then
that's what they told me.
All of a sudden, these motherfucking lamps, you're saying that you're just in here and this lamp just fell over on its own? Here?
All right, so I was chilling.
Uh-huh.
And I was cleaning everything else. And I had had to push the tables aside. And as I'm cleaning, I hear it crash. Now, I could have just put it too much. It could have just been pulling on the end. And then when I turned around, it was good for a minute, 2 minutes. And then I stomped the wrong way and it sent it over, boom, bang. I don't know. But we broke a lamp. And this is its remaining friend. So, just in case y'all seeing ghosts right now on the camera, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely not added by Eric. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And in case right now you're only listening, this is only audio, and you can hear these ghosts, you know what I'm saying? Then, just know that the lamps are speaking. Maybe it's a genie. Maybe
if there was a genie in this lamp, in these lamps, we just been thinking the lamp was what we saw in Aladdin. Turns out it was just what was on the end of our couch all this time. Like, oh, the genies live in those. You just need to break a light bulb and they come out. Crazy.
Well, the same day you got the lamps was the same day that you got the spear and that coin, right?
Oh, I did get the spear and the coin.
That's another spirit that we brought in.
Oh, boy, I tell you. I've never even pulled that up before. Yeah, I don't know what that story is behind that one. But I got it from the same basement. You told us the story
behind that one on one of the early podcasts, actually, the day you got it.
I don't remember that story. I made that one up.
It's recorded. We'll pull it up. We'll put it on the contents. I don't know where that'll go yet. We'll figure that out.
Our OnlyFans.
Yeah, we're just going to have an OnlyFans. I think we should transition all of our social media into OnlyFans.
Everything will just be an ad for OnlyFans.
Because really, the only people who are listening are our OnlyFans.
I think that's. I feel like that's a true statement about anybody that's listening to anything.
I think that's the point of the website.
You think so?
Well,
I think the point of the website is only fans can see, and to be a fan, you got to pay.
Exactly.
But we're not doing that for pay. I'm not here for free.
But I mean, the point of the website name of why it's called OnlyFans is because
That's true. That's true. Fuck OnlyFans.
Why are we saying fuck OnlyFans? Seems like a good way for a lot of people to make some money.
OnlyFans is trash.
Why?
Trash city. Because it's trash.
It's pretty weak argument, my dude.
I'm not trying to argue about it.
It's trash.
Just saying
because it's trash.
It's facts. It's trash.
I mean,
what makes trash? Being trash.
Well, nobody wants it is what makes trash. And it doesn't sound like OnlyFans nobody wants. It sounds like lots of people want what's happening on OnlyFans. So I don't think it could be trash if it's successful because its whole business model.
See, that's a good argument.
Doesn't
change my mind, but that's a good argument.
I mean, you don't have to like OnlyFans.
What do you like about OnlyFans? Who you subscribe to?
I don't subscribe to
Maybe I'm just not following the right motherfuckers.
I'm not a part of OnlyFans. I went to that website for the first time after you guys told it to me, and I was like, I
gotta go figure this out.
Well, I had to look.
What is this website?
You made it sound like it was like people that we knew were on there, and then it was
there might be people you know on there.
And then it just seemed like basically an ad, unless you wanted to log in. And I was like, oh, I don't need to log into OnlyFans. I'm good. And that's as far as I got. So that's my experience with the actual website, but. From what it sounds like, I only know what you've told me about the website and the experience I just mentioned. And so from there, my opinion is it sounds like a good way for people who are comfortable with doing that to make some money. And if other people want to pay them money, good. I just saw a PSA. I can't remember where it was. It was on some podcast I was listening to that was encouraging people during the quarantine to pay for your porn. Like a lot of people, their only job is doing this, and some of them are porn stars or just they work in this industry around OnlyFans might be their site or whatever way they work. But there's a lot of people consuming this information and consuming this stuff during this quarantine, and there's a lot of people creating this material on OnlyFans and on Pornhub and all these other places. And I'm like, hell yeah, it's all for it. I mean, people are using this content regularly, constantly. For some during this time when they're just stuck at home, being able just to look at naked peoples. And so I'm all for it. as long as it's like safe, protecting the people. OnlyFans is probably taking a fair cut. It sounds like if people are pretty comfortable going on there, and you said charging $40 a month to see what they post.
See the Instagram posts. I've never been on OnlyFans. I've never been there. You went farther than me. I've never clicked the link. I just see the Instagram girls talk about it.
See, I've never seen it on Instagram.
I mostly see it on Twitter.
Oh, I'm not much on Twitter.
On Twitter, I never pay attention to Twitter. Not for that. That's weird, huh? They're all like their own places. Or no?
I mean, I feel like they give me the same feeling as like friends in different cities. Like, you know, when you go to that
almost.
city and you hang out with those friends, it's really cool. It's fine. It's awesome. But even if they like kind of come over to your city that maybe that you're from, and then it's like, okay, yeah, it's cool. We can like check this out. But after a while, it's kind of like, well, our friendship isn't really the same. I have to go to work and shit here. And so, I don't know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Social media is an analogy that it's like your friends in other cities, visiting them is like visiting other different social media sites. Because like I go over to like Instagram and it's all about like fun and whatever. But like on Facebook, I'm over there and I got to do other stuff on Facebook. It's more business oriented and it's not really my favorite place to be.
Is that why you blocked the page from tagging you in posts?
Did I?
Hell yeah, you did. On every platform.
Damn.
That's probably something I had set for a long time that I need to change. I don't think I set it because of this. I think I had that set
I
from
used
before.
to tag you. Now I can't. Are you ashamed of us, Steven? Let's have a talk, bro.
No, just of you.
Listen. Are you ashamed of me? Are you ashamed, bro?
No.
Do you not appreciate your own reviews? Give us a review. What is this one like? Work from home. What does this one taste like? Give me the Guy Spencer beer review. I'm talking about like mouthfeel, the whole nine.
Why can't I just do a Justin review?
All right, do a Justin review.
All right.
Do whatever the fuck you want. It's Guy Spencer's beer corner.
Yeah. Well, today for Guy Spencer's, Guy Spencer's beer corner. Honestly, this beer tastes like when you're a little bit hungover and you just finished eating like too much sweet breakfast food because somebody convinced you to go to like a breakfast diner. And you just had a bunch of like...
And you're hanging balls.
Kind of shitty syrup and you're hanging balls. So you're sucking down coffee that kind of tastes like shit. But, I mean, for me, I'm drinking a bunch of coffee.
Yeah, sure.
And this beer tastes like that. But if the coffee that you were like drinking and the syrup that you were drinking was not from like a diner... But it was like nice real maple syrup, and it was good coffee from like a good place. It tastes like that, and so like for me at least, it just like gives me this little bit of revitalization feeling of when I have been hungover, and you get that spike of really good strong coffee in you right in that morning, and you had like some sugar, some maple syrup, some pancakes, all that sweet, and it gives you that little like ooh, yeah, and then with the alcohol on top, it just has that flavor where it definitely is beer. And you still kind of have that beer flavor in your mouth because you drank 14 PBRs the night before and maybe a couple shots of Fernet. And then that next morning you had that big old breakfast of pancakes.
So fucking disgusting. Oh my God. This food made me fucking try a shot of Fernet one time. I don't remember who else was there. But, oh, it was awful.
Looks like olive oil or soy sauce. At least the bottle.
What does?
Fernet.
The bottle of Fernet looks like olive oil or soy sauce?
That's what it tastes like too. Both those things put together.
Yeah.
It tastes like if you were to take olive oil, soy sauce, and flowers and put them in a blender. And then hurry up and shoot that shit before the oil and the soy sauce
I feel like you haven't even mentioned like the main two flavor components that most people like are opposed to in Fernet.
I didn't like the way it tasted like gross and flour.
Well, I think the gross part was probably the black licorice or anise flavor in there.
Disgusting.
Yep, that's
that sounds gross. What?
And then the other flavor is probably mint because there's a good amount of like mentho, not like bubblegum mint, but menthol, like, whoa, that toothpaste is fucking strong.
So
mint.
you drank that disgusting ass shit to the point where you got sick in the morning, you was feeling gross, and then this felt like feeling better?
No. That was just an example of what I might drink to be really drunk and be that hungover in the morning.
Yeah,
to
I'm
just
putting your
need
story
this
back
like
together.
breakfast.
I'm putting your story, but so you painted a story.
Oh, yeah.
You just got drunk. Next morning, you feeling like hanging ball sacks, and you decide
You get
to eat breakfast, and you feel better. Breakfast and coffee makes you feel better. That's what this is like.
That's what it tastes like, yeah. At least when that flavor hit my palate at first, that's where my mind was brought back to, of just being like in kind of like a diner, little bit. I mean, the hungover part is more just probably the alcohol in the beer because it is 10.5 or like 10.2%. It's a strong beer, 10.6%, and so I think that's more of just like where the hungover part is coming from because it just feels like it's really strong. It's like, oh, I'm already kind of feeling a little bit more drunk than I should be, just like in those mornings. And so yeah, I think that's what hit it. Hit it for me. It's good. I like it. I mean, this isn't a beer I drink all the time. This is a beer that I would have every year they put it out. Once a year, probably.
I would drink this beer for the. So if we had the same story, where I was getting faded, got faded the night before, woke up the next morning, and there was a point where I'm like about to go with friends to eat a bunch of food or something, do something like that. I feel like that's typically a special occasion for me. That reminds me of vacation, right? Now, if I'm on vacation and I gigged the night before like that, and the next day, now it's morning time, somebody's woke me up to go get sweet-ass breakfast. This tastes like what I would replace breakfast with. So I'd be like, nah, y'all eat. I'm going to keep gigging. I'm on vacation. What the fuck? I'm hanging balls. I'm about to get faded again, and I'm not going to be hanging balls. So y'all eat pancakes. I'm going to drink this coffee beer.
Guy Spencer just said, that's the kind of review I need from Justin. He just texted me that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's the way to do it, boy.
That's it.
Well, that's the review. So what else did you want to talk about? You got anything else?
About beer or just about anything else?
Anything else? Did you have anything prepared ahead of time?
Just
shout out. You want me to rant
out
about something nonsense?
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I do. But first, just shout out to Bernie Sanders and the campaign. Thank you for
Fuck Bernie
all
Sanders.
that. Fuck Bernie Sanders for endorsing Joe Biden.
Dude, he's fucking copped out. What a hoe.
What do you mean? He took the easy route out?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. See, you know what I mean now. I don't mean that in a bad way. Shit. And maybe it's still bad. I don't know. But it's funnier. And I only mean it to be funny. Okay? Shit. Sometimes I say shit just because it's funny. Like, it's hilarious. Anyways, that's not the point. I'm high. What was I going to say? Oh, fuck Bernie. This dude. Look, oh, man. I was talking to my brother about it, and I got all, like, passionate about it for a second, and I had to pull myself back because I'm like, yo, like, look, man, look what we doing, right? We just got a stimulus check, right? People are getting stimulus checks and shit.
Some coins fell out of the pocket of the billionaires in our country.
Well, look, some people got a stimulus check, right? And people are also being told that they have to do specific things right now to quote unquote like slow the curve, whatever, right? Whatever the fuck they call it. I don't know what the fuck they do. Bend the curve, end the curve, some bullshit. But the point is it's like the solutions to all these things are these very lightly social answers. Or socialist answers, not social. Socialist answers. So in the sense of like, it's not socialism where, you know, they're controlling who gets the food and how much food do you get and this and that. but it's socialism in the sense where right now it's limited on when you can be open, how many people can be in, like that kind of thing to protect everybody. Like those are the answers. This is the kind of shit, like those small socialist answers while still holding the democratic values. Those answers are what Bernie Sanders has been running on for his entire life. And right now, we're seeing the moment that when there is a fucking catastrophe, an issue, some shit's going down, some shit's what's up, that sometimes those are the answers. And that those are probably better answers in other places sometimes, and that the places we have them, like police and fire departments, fucking anything, you know, shit like that, like those libraries, like those are socialist programs, and they're not like heavily like this dark socialism that people paint socialism to be. They're the democratic socialism that Bernie Sanders has pushed, and right now all these answers are all democratic socialism, and this was his moment to do that. This was his moment to be like, shit, motherfuckers, here I am. I've been telling y'all this shit since been telling y'all this shit. Fuck whoever the fuck you thought was supposed to be the president. That's me.
But what are you mad at Bernie Sanders for?
That he didn't say that at all. He didn't come out and say that. He didn't make that very public. I follow all of his stuff. That he didn't
come out and say, I told you so? You're mad at him for not doing that?
I'm mad at him for not being like, for backing stuff and being like, this is exactly what I've been saying.
I mean,
when people were having arguments, nobody was even discussing Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders seemed quiet. And that was his moment of glory. That was the moment to shine. This was it. Not the
I told you so you want to take.
This was it.
Right?
And
especially when you're already down and out.
And he turns around and endorses this dude who can't think. Which sucks. I don't mean, you know, that's terrible. That sucks for that dude. And I'm sure if that was, you know,
that was your
somebody
grandpa,
I cared about,
would make you feel bad.
I would feel bad. But at the same time, it wouldn't stop it from being reality. That just because if that was my grandpa wouldn't change my mind. I still would be like, fuck it, he can't think. It would make me sadder. Because now I realize it. Right? But that wouldn't push me to be like, he's okay to be president. The boy can't think. Right? And so we endorse that dude when this is your moment of glory?
I can't believe that.
Fuck out of here. You're trash, Bernie Sanders. I thought you were my dude. And you ended up being all scared. Or something. I don't know. Maybe they got something on it. I don't know.
The only other thing I really want to say around this is, if you were a Bernie Sanders supporter, if you were an anybody supporter, if you're going to vote in the election in November, don't let anybody tell you that you got to vote for fucking Joe Biden because you're a Democrat. Or that you gotta vote any fucking way at all.
That if you feel this about this thing, you have to vote for Joe Biden.
Including that if you are choosing to not vote, that's a vote for Trump. And anybody who ends their sentences or their defense about what you should and shouldn't do with your vote with that it's a vote for Trump, it's bullshit. And don't believe them. That is that herd mentality that as long as enough people say that they can keep their fucking power of two parties going. Because that argument only supports the two-party bullshit that they're trying to do. So we don't need to hear, if you want to fucking write in Stephen DiLisio for fucking president, go for it. Because you should. Because fuck this shit. If it's a vote for Trump, if you're going to vote for Bernie Sanders or write in Bernie Sanders or not vote or anything like that or vote Green Party or anything like that.
You haven't made a joke yet.
Fuck all of them. Fuck all of them. And write in whoever you want to write in, or don't vote at all. Don't vote at all. Nope. I'll tell you all right now that I'm not voting for Trump, and I'm not voting for Joe Biden either.
Well, let me tell you, if I'm voting for you, you have to make a better joke. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's all I meant was that if you want Steven in there, I'll put that in there. If you have some good comebacks, but right now your clapbacks ain't gonna be good. And Donald Trump, that boy would have you in a debate. You might have the facts, and you could tell him all about what kind of beer flavors there are, and he'd be all whatever. But he'd make some kind of clap, and you wouldn't be able to clap back.
Well, I have to be honest. there's no way I could be president. I'm only 31, and you got to be 35. So if you did write in my name, shout out, thanks. But it would be
that's why AOC don't run.
Vote.
Or else she would have tried to run too. But
she's on her way.
How old is she? Like 29?
She's on her way.
Yeah, I definitely do see her trying out. At least.
She'll run.
Well, she's rubbing elbows with the Democratic Party now a little bit tighter than before, and so who knows what will be the future of AOC if it's like still like the fighting progressive warrior on Bernie Sanders' side, or if the DNC gets to her. We'll see. Hopefully she doesn't do that over, like, we see that, like, they're the biggest one of, I mean, politically, the Democratic Party might be the biggest problem in America. They don't, oh man, they're just evil and terrible, and they crushed Bernie Sanders. And if they were just like, you know what, let's let the Democratic Party actually decide this, and not just like go in and try and suppress elections and try and suppress everything, and try and make it as hard as possible to let their reins go of what they have in the Democratic Party, and let somebody like an independent like Bernie Sanders come in there and start putting things like healthcare. Because as I've said before, healthcare was the number one issue for me through all this, and it is because it's what will break them, and they know that too, which is why they tried so hard to break Bernie Sanders out of this election, why they put Bloomberg in there. I mean, the evidence is there. They're afraid, and healthcare is what they're afraid of the breaking, because they know why it will break everything. Politically, economically, for the workers and for the people, not for them. And
you want to know the other name that I've been hearing kind of lately, though?
𝗃𝗵𝗏𝗿𝗃.
Besides 𝗃𝗵𝗏𝗃𝗏.
Carol Baskin.
Besides also Carol Baskin.
Sorry.
𝗃𝗵𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏.
That bitch, Carol Baskin.
And my homie, 𝗃𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏.
Killed her.
Shout out to 𝗃𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Whacked him.
Who else you been hearing names of? What name you been hearing a lot of, Justin?
Yang. Is that his name?
Andrew Yang?
Andrew Yang. I almost called him Jeremy again.
Him just doing dumbass shit. Well, as soon as
fucking Jeremy Yang.
I mean, he hopped on that bandwagon on Super Tuesday weekend of dipping out, right? Or no, he dipped out before that.
He dipped out before that.
But he jumped on somebody's campaign. He endorsed somebody, I think, that weekend.
Warren, I think it was.
Was it Warren?
Probably because he saw that out of the two that she had the better chance of winning at the time. And, you can see that from the inside. I saw the outside having more influence.
Recently that I was like, yep, I remember hearing that in another interview. What was he? He caught some flack for saying it too.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. He's a weirdo.
Yang?
No, I don't know if he's a weirdo. I don't really know much about him.
I mean, he got what he wanted, kind of.
No, well, he's talking
for
about
a month.
He's talking about forever.
For a month, yeah.
And man, as far as I understand it, and I don't understand it for shit. I don't know nothing about economics, so I don't understand how this entirely works. But the way it was dumbed down, and I read into it. The stimulus package costs each citizen about $18,000 in taxes. And then they're splitting that. Most of it is going to corporations. And then we're getting $1,200 of those who are qualified. And then there's all kinds of things that
I've heard all kinds of whack shit and craziness around this. And like, I do think I have a good grasp on economics, but like, this is all tax law and this is all law, like legal shit that like that's beyond economics. Economics is a pseudoscience of looking at how markets work with mathematics essentially now and being able to predict things by previous trends. Then also, but the thing with economics is you also follow like models, like economic models and beliefs.
I
and
can
so
follow
like
some models, boy.
Americans follow like a very specific economic model that we've all grown up in, that is very anti like socialist.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was hoping for another.
I was talking about
I was hoping for another hand motion for socialist, and I was just pausing for it.
Oh, socialist?
What's the hand model for socialist?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
There's a hand motion for that? That's weird. Let's not do a hand thing because hand things become weird, dude. Every hand thing has always become weird. It always becomes weird eventually. That's weird. You know what's cool is daps. Daps are always cool. And now you can't even touch. So it's just like the snap. Me and my cousin
I know
Ben
you were
saw each
scared
other.
about it.
I dropped off a mask to my cousin Ben. We snapped. It was hilarious.
Just like you just skipped
Yeah,
right
we
to the
already
end of
knew
the
what was
handshake.
up.
You just
Oh.
snapped. You're just like, well,
Yeah.
you probably looked at each other for a minute, like kind of like you were doing it, just pausing. Then, well, that's all we can do.
Hell yeah, what we gonna
That's
do?
it.
I ain't touching you, boy. I don't know if you got the wrong shit. I ain't just seen you in 2 weeks. That's
Like
how
I
long
didn't
they
just
say
toss
you
that
can
mask out and drive off
They say
without
you
even
can
stopping.
incubate. I hit that shit with a 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. You know, I don't know if that's how it worked, but we trying. Again, we just hit it like 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. I feel like that's all we can do.
You're just sitting there like WWHD.
WWHMD.
You got to put his last name in the initial too.
Oh, yeah, who the fuck is Howie?
It's not WWJCD.
Who the fuck is Howie? I'll tell you, if I was like, oh, my dude, Howie, people would be like, what the fuck? Even dudes who knew Howie Mandel would be like, who? Who? He's in the room right here. My boy Howie? Which one's Howie? You talking about Howie Mandel?
The
Oh, yeah.
germaphobe? That's the one.
He's funny. I seen him live. One of my clients brought him out, and I got tickets to that, and he was really funny.
I'm pretty sure Howie Mandel is from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And he used to have the show called Bobby's World. Do you remember
yeah,
that show?
Bobby's World was off the hook. Boy, I remember
Yeah.
that shit when I was little.
And he did all the voices for it, and like his parents, the voices. I don't think he did the voices for them. Maybe he did. Maybe at least the dad. But they had such thick Minnesota accents that I remember that one. And then, do you remember Life with Louie? Which is like the same kind of like vein of shows.
Kind of.
With Louie Anderson,
Oh, yeah, I remember that
fat
one.
little kid,
Uh-huh.
and like
Yeah.
I met Louie Anderson actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd he tell you?
Well, he had like a book signing, and I did my impression of like the character on there for him, and he thought it was pretty good. I think he said. I guess I don't really remember. I was
You think
very
he
young.
remembers?
God no, he's probably. I mean, I was one of, hundreds of thousands of kids he's probably met over the years, and he was like 3, maybe 4 Louis Andersons I've met.
Yo, that's the tightest thing I think about Gary V. I watch a lot of that food show, and it's like cool, and he's got like a cool little thing, and I think some people are like Gary V, and most of those people have never actually watched him. They don't like, they don't get what it's probably the opposite.
They just heard him on a podcast they listened to,
Yeah.
and then built an opinion off of that.
Yeah, and they think what he's about is probably the opposite of what he's actually about. But the point is, I listen to a lot of this food just because I listen to a lot of content while I'm working. Boom, bang, let it just ride, right? But one of the things I think that's tightest about him is that he'll be doing these, like, he puts out these keynotes that he does. He'll do a keynote in fucking Brazil, and he'll be out there fucking 1,000, 2,000 people in this crowd, and he does like a whole keynote, and he puts the whole thing online. And then at the end, he starts doing a Q&A. And there will always be somebody that comes up, and they'll be like, hey, how's it going, blah, 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 blah. I'm this and that. I have a podcast that's this and that, this and that. Actually, you probably don't remember, but I met you about 5 years ago, and you were the one who told me to start a podcast that day, and you told me that if I did it, that I would do, or if I got to 100 episodes, that you would do the 100th episode. They'll pull it up like that. And he'll be like, I do remember that. You're the one who does the podcast about action figures.
You're
or some
in
shit.
fucking Maryland, right? And like he'll just I've seen the videos of him doing that shit.
And then he'll be like, yeah, and then he'll do their podcast, and then you'll see that food like on like random ass podcasts, like literally just the most random podcast with any person, and he's always talking about the same stuff, and it's not like he does anything crazy, but I always thought that's really tight that he does remember that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He at least puts it together, like what he's doing, and I have seen him be like, sorry, I don't remember what the fuck you're talking about, but a lot of times he does. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty hard. Anyways, you don't think that's tight to remember a lot of stuff like that?
No, that's tight. I just don't.
That's
know.
what I'm talking about.
Like I don't know much about Gary Vee anymore. I did have like a good experiences with him, bad experiences with him, and
You had
now
a
I'm
bad
just
experience? Did he touch you?
Not like physically. At one point that was the,
He mentally grabbed you by the pussy.
How dare him? Not mentally. That wouldn't be acceptable.
But physically, that's cool.
So Gary Vee is like he's fine. He's fine, but I've seen him do some stuff
Now
where
he's
I'm like,
fine?
wow, Gary Vee, you're just like, that was really badass. I've seen him like do talks in front of high school kids, and where he just like drops a bunch of shit on them that is really true and awesome and great. And then there's sometimes when I hear Gary Vee and like just kind of like roll my eyes and I'm like, ugh. But I don't know. I've experienced him around a lot of different people, including like, I don't know. I feel like he responds to the audience he's around, and that's fine. That's a good skill for what he does. But I just feel like, I guess, I don't know. I see kind of what he sold at the beginning, and he does do a really good job of selling what he sells himself and like his brand and his like opinion, and what he does is crazy. Like when you see videos of him doing shit in Brazil, I'm sure that dude got paid $100,000 to go up on stage for 30 minutes. And he said he like flew in, did that, like walked up on stage, like said like, hey to Danny, like walked up on stage, did it, bam, 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 did his thing, did like a nice like goodbye, like a little QA, boom, and then left and was gone. And like Danny was like sour about it because I think he thought he was gonna get more, because he like, Danny's very much about like, just write the fucking check, boom. At that point he was. I don't think he is so much. He's had like an enlightenment and did like a bunch of drugs and shit.
Oh yeah, he was laughing. I heard for a gang.
And so now I don't know if that would be, but at that point he was just like, who fucking cares? Pay for it. If we want Gary Vee, we're getting Gary Vee. And Gary Vee probably was just like,
I think no, hold on. So I think that and again, I watch a lot of this shit. I watch a lot of different entrepreneurs and business shit and comedy shit and all kinds of shit. I watch all kinds. Not even watch. I put it on the side monitor while I'm working.
You consume.
So while I'm working, this should be on the side, and I listen to a lot of that motherfucker doing a lot of shit. And he's real open about like that he's a busy dude and that he packs his days full, and especially even flying. Like, so if he flies somewhere, he'll pack his day in that place while he has that moment to be around those people. If somebody pays him to come to town, he has a bunch of other places to be, or maybe he has something else, and then he'll like, but he's real open about that. Like, he's not like weird about it. So for you to say that, like when you said it, it was like, yeah, that sounded like any other thing that I've seen him do on these little vlogs he puts on.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. When I heard that, I was like, Daddy, you got taken.
Yeah, but you know what it is too, is that he puts out a lot of free content, a lot.
That is his that's his business model too, is that he charges people who has,
his advice is
respect to him is that he charges people who has a ton of money for content that he gives away for free in different platforms that are a little bit less like accessible to, well, they're more accessible really, but I don't know. I don't completely understand his business model. Like I said, like I don't dislike Gary, but I guess
his business model is give it
like I said,
away,
I kind of saw it and I lost interest because like his character or his personality is very like abrasive, and that's part of it though. And like I see all that in there, at least it's abrasive to me, and I see that it's all part of it. And so like, no disrespect to Gary Vee, he does what he does and he does it really well, but it's just like I'd like to look at Gary Vee just more. I'm like, I have a lot of respect for his like model and like his fucking like,
you're talking about models,
adherence to the model of his system of what he wants to do. What do you want me to fucking, oh yeah, I like your model more. You're like,
his model look like
some
bacon.
Mermaid shit. That's some like under the sea.
Your shit look like bacon, boy.
Like bacon?
Hell yeah.
Why bacon?
I don't know, because I gave my girl like a nice Coke bottle shape, boy. I was thinking thick. He went like this. It was either, what's it, a squid?
It's like a I Dream of Genie move right there.
Fucking octopus, boy. You get out of there all quick. Shit. Anyways, yeah. All right.
Gosh.
I'm high. I forgot what you were just saying, but I was interested.
The Minnesota specific accent is the closest to a Canadian one. But then again, I've only been to Canada once, and it was not in that part of Canada. It was a different, like, it was Vancouver, British Columbia, which I think is maybe not the same experience.
Yeah.
I think that part's a little more French.
I don't know about Canada.
I don't know.
That's Quebec.
I don't know
You're
about
cool
Canada. I know that
Thanks.
my Aboriginal homies, my indigenous homies, my native homies,
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? What are they? My First Nation homies.
There it is.
I know that they ain't fucking with Canada or Justin Trudeau.
That's
and since
true.
that motherfucker,
No.
hold up, let me sit up. Since that motherfucker shared my name up in this bitch, fuck motherfucker Justin Trudeau on behalf of all my motherfuckers that don't fuck with you.
I mean, Justin, do you want to go into a little bit of why?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and tell me why. Learn me.
Well, I don't think I was volunteering to say
I think that's exactly what you were doing by saying that. You said, "Do you want to know?" And you
No.
go, "Sure." And then you go, "Okay, here's why."
Oh, damn, you misheard me.
I
said-
misheard you.
Yeah, I said, do you want to go into why you hate Justin Trudeau?
That's. I feel like that's the same thing. Like you're gonna go into it, not me.
I think
And-
if you put more emphasis on you, let's try it again.
How about like, why don't you go into why? And I'd be like, because the Aboriginal homies told me not to. First Nation motherfuckers was like, hey, we ain't fucking with that food. And I said, all right, cool. You know what? That's the way it worked.
Yeah,
Sometimes it worked that way.
because Canada likes to play the card of that they're just better than the United States, but at the same time, Canada makes a ton of money in the oil industry, just like the United States. So the same like evil pieces of shit that try and move pipelines through like the native lands of America don't give a fuck about like borders. They don't give a fuck about anybody's borders for any of this shit at all. United States or Canada, like fuck them all. But they're up there
Get
doing
'em.
that shit. And so the reason what he's saying is like Canada is, oh, they got healthcare. Like, yeah, they got some nice stuff. But it's just because they're barely more civil. But they know the richness of the money that's underneath the ground there in places that they don't own. But they know that they can fucking take because the people who do own it have been disenfranchised in that country just as much as, not as much as they've been in America. I don't think Canada has the history that the United States does. Not far off. But I don't think
Hold
there's...
on. It depends.
I don't think there's like...
loud, boy. I didn't mean to cough towards you. It's COVID times. I still bleached everything. Still Lysol. Listen, look, it's depending on who you ask, man, and what you wanna, how you wanna make that comparison. I think there's a point where you stop making a comparison and you just go, ooh, that's terrible. And then you don't go like it's either as much or not, whatever. It's you either did that or you
who
didn't.
knows?
It's like, ooh,
I
that's
mean,
terrible.
There's too much that happened that we don't know about.
Look, dude, I'll tell you what they do know about. Real quick, one real quick. They just found in California this mass grave site. I think it was California or Oregon, maybe. Somewhere on the coast over there. Anyways, they found a mass grave site of all these kids in this church.
Kids.
And they found out that these kids came from a time when they would just take the native babies from their parents to colonize them, and they wouldn't let them speak their language. They wouldn't be assimilation, right? They wouldn't be allowed. They'd have to take on whatever names. They did their thing, and motherfuckers, they would get sick. They were beaten to death. All kinds of extra stuff, and they went unaccounted for. They were taken from their parents, never given back. They were just given back to society as adults, the ones who made it. And there was a gravesite that was just found recently. It was either in California or Oregon, which is like, damn, that sucks that the United States would treat natives that way. But there was actually one that was found in fucking 1980 some shit in Canada. And it's literally the exact same story at a church and a Catholic thing. And they did the exact same thing. It's the same exact joint back and forth. And it's like, well, they did that. Isn't there a certain point where it's like, I don't know, man. You did the same things.
I mean, at one point, you just got to know that, like, white people be white people.
The Dakota Access Pipeline, they're talking about that shit. That was a big old thing, right? Everybody was like, oh, that's terrible. And both sides of every party was like, man, that's trash. What are you doing? Right? Like, those are native lands, obviously. If they're native lands, you shouldn't be able to be there. People were arguing, well, maybe they're not native lands, this, that. That was
well, it's because these motherfuckers think that about everything. Like,
but that was a connection between Mexico and Canada. Or maybe not Mexico. It might have been... indirectly Mexico. So it would have been, it goes, the Dakota Access Pipeline goes to a pipeline that already exists down that ends up in but near Mexico and shit, and to Mexico and all these pipelines, but it comes from Canada. That's where it starts. So it's already there. These motherfuckers were already building it there. That's why it was such a thing where they were over here on this side of the reservation in South Dakota.
And you know what's one
and
crazy thing about like that area
South Dakota, I remember
in this argument, places like Canada and Russia really do serve to turn good fortune on global warming, right? Because think of how much of Canada to the north, and especially Russia to the north and to the east of like their main inhabitants, how much of it's frozen. Tundras, right? Like the Russian Siberia, all that shit. And then Canada, the northern territories, all that shit's frozen. And then now there's ground, which what is probably underneath this ground in Russia and Canada that they want to get to, that's going to be a prime resource that they can still power the economy because these dumb idiots won't stop using fossil fuels, is oil.
Are you saying that we're not using fossil fuels right now?
No. We are now. What I'm saying is they're not going to stop. Like, we know fossil fuels is like the people.
Well, we need an alternative that also makes money.
Right. The thing is, what I'm saying, just that all that's going to happen. But while whatever happens on the other side of it, the fossil fuel industry will fight to their death to continue production of crude oil for gasoline, for all the stuff we use that shit for, right? And if global warming starts warming the planet, they're going to have easier access to places in Russia that they've never had access for centuries, right? Centuries. Because it's been iced over.
Hundreds of years.
If not
iced over.
If not longer, right?
More than centuries. What's more than centuries?
Millennia.
Millennia. Ooh, that's a good one. What's more than millennia?
Millennia.
Eons?
Eons. Look at this boy's on his motherfucking vocabulary. Would you look at that shit?
That's a bachelor of science in work.
An indefinite and very long period of time, often a period exaggerated
that's not a measurement.
for humorous or rhetorical effect.
Motherfucking
Yeah, I didn't know that it was
It's not a measurement. Eons is not a measurement.
Yeah.
The other ones were.
Yo,
centuries, millennias are measurements.
I remember reading this article about these kids in like Stanford, maybe it was Princeton, maybe it was motherfucking Yale, maybe it was motherfucking some other school that's, you know, Boston. I don't know. Listen, these kids were petitioning the scientific community to adopt a new form of measuring distance beyond the meter. So there's like there's like centimeter, millimeter, meter, kilometer, boom, bang, all these meters, right? As it gets up, and to there's a point that meter stops like.
We stop having Latin words to put in front of the word meter.
Yeah, so it stops working. So it's like, all right, well, we got to stop either using meters or we have to use something else, right? So these kids were saying, well, we should use the distance between, I think it was between here, the sun, and back, or some shit, in meters, was now a helimeter.
Oh man!
It'd be like, oh shit, that star is about 400 helimeters away.
That
Damn,
is
that's a helimeters.
1 times 10 to the 27th power is a helimeter.
Say that again.
1 times 10 to the 27th power.
27th.
Yep.
That's a helimeters, boy.
It's hella long.
That shit's hard. Yo, and I think with that, I think that's gonna be it. You got anything else?
I was gonna say, do you guys want to know a longer number that is something that
Google.
like that's a classic one. And then do you know what a Googleplex is?
Oh,
1,000 zeros?
Pornhub was before Google hit him with a cease and desist.
I know it's more zeros.
It is more zeros. A Googleplex is a 1 with a Google number of zeros.
after it.
Holy shit. Well, hopefully one day we'll make it to that episode. But for now, it's been the Lone Ranger vs. Tonto up in this bitch right here. Look, down here somewhere. Look at that episode. We're going to get it right this time because we only have 20 seconds. Boom. Right down over there. Another episode right here. Click this motherfucker right here real quick and subscribe. Eric, lead us out.
I'm looking at barrel measurements, and the biggest is a ton. Half of that is called a butt. See y'all later.